What if I told you that The Weeknd is going to be the love interest? Believe it, that goofy looking guy, he is apparently the love interest in this show called The Idol. And I just saw the first episode on HBO, and I'll tell you what, right now I'm listening to his music on the headphones, and it's torturing my head. So let's go ahead and disconnect from that. And now I can tell you about what's wrong with the first episode. Right now, it seems like a Euphoria ripoff to begin with, and we're basically going to use the B footage as the trailer to kind of like react and give consenting commentary to, because frankly there's too many issues with this initial episode. In fact, it's like soft core porn, if you know what I mean. It's like really on the nose. And beyond that, with Euphoria, at least there's hotter girls. With this one, it's not looking so good. Now Lily Rose Depp, or whatever her name is, Johnny Depp's daughter, is pretty hot. I'd say she's like a 7 to an 8. She has that crack Adderall aesthetic, and as a college guy, I really am relating to that aesthetic in regards to the women that I deal with, not so much what I look like. Okay, I'm not that skinny, right? So anyway, I'll basically react to the trailer with you boys because I really want to give you my perspective on this. Now, granted, there's a lot of issues with copyright, so we're not going to listen to the audio. You're going to have to hear my beautiful voice instead. Okay, that's a joke, but let's go on and play this. So as you can see here, it's an HBO original, so they're really hyping this thing up. Okay, they give this guy the name of Tedros. Does this brown guy, The Weeknd, does he sound like a Tedros? I don't think so. Not any more than I would sound like a Tedros. Okay, so again, they're like, what? It's a Greek name. It makes no sense really. Now look at this. What a disgusting aesthetic this guy has, for the record, okay? Look at this freaking geezer. He looks like a predator. He looks like he would date rape a girl. He looks like he would slip a molly in the girl's drink and take advantage of a 16-year-old at a party that she shouldn't have been in the first place. It's not looking so good. And then you're looking at the aesthetic, right? And again, the outfit, completely sleazy. And again, this show, for all intents and purposes, takes place in 2023. So that tells you, okay, why is he wearing this like 1990s era coat? Or is it 1980s? Again, I was born 20 years after that era, so just for the record, I don't really know. But the point is that the drip is awful. And then he's wearing like jeans, or are they slacks? I can't even tell. Then you're looking at the hair. It's complete Ron Jeremy pornographer hair, as far as I can tell. And again, what is this like medallion? Look, I'm iced out, but it's like normal ice, right? Not this idea of whatever the hell he's wearing. It's utterly ridiculous. The aviators, coping. The guy's ugly, The Weeknd. And again, he's 5'8". Imagine being an average height, right? And the guy's not good looking. Again, without his fame, how much pussy could he possibly get? So is The Weeknd really a good hire for this? He must be a great actor, you must think, if he's going to be hired as the love interest for a hot chick like Miss Depp over here, if all of a sudden, again, he's going to be hoisted into this role. So we're going to see through the trailer what I think about the show in general. So right now, look at this. The spin, okay, provocative, top down, okay, you're getting the aesthetic of Southern California, Hollywood, whatever, the high-end lifestyle. Again, she goes to these parties, right? And again, you're this like 23-year-old celebrity or whatever. Why are you going to the club? It's not really a good idea. And plus, you're letting a DJ. And here's another elemental part. I'm going to spoil the show, obviously, because why not? Now, going forward, I'll tell you the truth. Eventually, there's a scene where she goes to the club with her girlfriend, her assistant best friend, right? She's not hot at all, by the way. And what you notice right away is that the DJ, who's also The Weeknd, in this case, Tadros, right? So apparently he goes and he rizzes her up by stopping all the music, getting the center of attention, and then saying, will you dance with me? It's like, bro, you're supposed to DJ at the club, not rizz up the girls. What a douche. I had this experience relatively recently as well, where I'm at a club, right? And apparently the security guard, again, we're really crowded dancing over here, trying to dance to Uncle Pitbull, right? And apparently this guy feels the need, this like 6'4" black guy feels the need to block off other people where we're supposed to dance so that he could rizz up some like 19-year-old, twisting her around. And it's like, bro, you're on the job to protect us, not rizz up bitches. And it's just utterly disrespectful and disgusting and pervy. Honestly, in my opinion, there's a time and place for you to get girls. And if you're on the job, then try not to do that, because, you're stopping the party so you can get with Lily Rose Depp. And then, and I understand why he's doing it, because he's a disgusting pervert that's like not even good looking. I understand that. But at the same time, let's have some common decency and not be so selfish. Now, moving on. So he tries to dance with her. She's a very easy girl. Apparently they like make out or something on the spot, and it's just like really gross kind of for me, because again, the girl is really out of his league and I just don't like seeing that. Now, granted, they go up to and they basically have like this like dry humping session like in the staircase aside from where the club is primarily, right? And it's just pretty gross. And beyond that, her friend innocently is trying to find her other friend. What happens? Your pretty girlfriend goes missing. She could have been taken advantage of. She could have gotten kidnapped. But no, she goes and's like, oh my God, hello. And then she's like, oh my God, I might get caught. Well, fuck you, you bitch. Why are you doing that? Why are you jeopardizing Like your friend thinks you're missing for all she knows, and you're over here screwing some ugly guy. Really, the ugly DJ? Why? Why would you ever do that, you stupid bitch? So first of all, like our protagonist character supposed to be flawless morally? No, but at the same time, make them relatable, make them not so freaking evil, right? But no, she's just completely decadent and hedonistic, and you just do not like to see that. Now let's go ahead. Yeah, they're kissing, just gross. I don't like to see it, just inherently. All right. And again, they're smoking. Disgusting. Look how pervy the guy looks. Freaking gross. From the creator of Euphoria, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? Anyway, so now if you were to look at, okay, again, why is a chick like that ever in a movie? Just do not hire these people for anything. If you want to become a fry cook at McDonald's, don't even hire them at that. What is this ebony lady going to be good for? She's very unattractive. What's up with that? Anyway, and again, these shows are really sexual, and it's like, again, not in the good way. It's like definitely something that is really like, again, very homo stuff. I don't really enjoy that. And then when you're looking at the Tedros guy, again, very sexually disturbed, and you're gonna see why in the show if you actually watch it. I don't think it shows it here, but it's just really, really, really terrible things that goes on in here. Again, he's like giving her drugs, and this is the sort of res that these ugly guys have to do. Is that these guys in Hollywood and these DJs just generally in these cities will drug up these like pretty girls, and then these girls get addicted to cocaine or whatever it is, Molly. And all of a sudden, this ugly guy, this guy by just conventional standards is like a 4 out of 10 in looks. All of a sudden, he's with an 8 out of 10. Not because she's consenting, mind you. I mean, she kind of is, but also because she's in an altered mind state and she's dependent upon him for the drugs. And it's just a disgusting taking advantage of the girl. And again, the girl's at fault too. The girl's a complete idiot, bumbleclot, just complete tool. But at the same time, you have to also consider that, women are stupid, especially the ones that are like her. You're hopped up on drugs. So to then sleep with her, and then under the circumstances that he's doing it in, makes the Weeknd seem like a complete and utter scumbag. But I don't see enough people disavowing his actions on Twitter. So that's one of the ugly friends from the show, whatever. Okay. Anyway, look at just how slutty she is. Just so gross. Okay. He's showering her. What the hell? Anyway, so let's keep going. All right. Go on. They have a lot of choreography scenes that I don't really care for that, but I guess that's okay, right? Not very immoral, so to speak. Now, let's see what else they got for us right here. 10 seconds left in the commercial. Are they going to spice it up? No, they're not. Okay, well, anyway, the point is that The Weeknd, for whatever reason, feels the need to act in a certain way towards the end of the episode. And I got to tell you this, guys, it is just utterly disconcerting what he's going to do. In the show, he goes to her house, gets her drunk, knows that she has to be up at like 7 in the morning, shows up like when the sun's down anyway. Again, right there, right off the jump, you don't care about this girl. Again, these guys will lie and tell a girl anything to sleep with her, and that's just very immoral in my opinion. And he's going over here to fornicate with this blonde chick, and again, she has to get up early in the morning, and your scummy ass is like, oh, I'm so down bad, I'm gonna fuck her right now, and he does, and so he takes her, and he takes her to, what's it called? Oh, he's taking her to this like studio, right? And she has this insecurity that she projects about how her most recent song sucks. So then what does he do? He says, oh, your song is really good as a DJ. I really like it. Again, just to sleep with her. The song isn't good, by the way. In the show, I can't play it, copyright, but it sucks. And beyond that, there's this issue that you have here where all of a sudden there's these people that come in, and by people, I mean these demon spirits watching, like Sneeko in the corner, cuck, but also enjoying what they're watching. And what they're watching is this fucking black dude, The Weeknd, going in with this white chick, and he's going like, oh my God. And that's not what makes it gross, by the way, but it just kind of adds to the texture of the vibe, right? So right now you have this like drug dealer, sleazy, drugged up, like drunk blonde chick, right? Out of his league. And she's in the chair, and he's facing her like this on his knees. And he's like rubbing ice on her body and like basically playing with her, like it's like a very visceral sort of like riz, but it's also kind of predatory. And basically he seduces her somehow. And it's kind of like a miracle, but like in the negative sense, right? Like a demonic miracle, riz miracle. And basically what he does is he, for whatever reason, he's playing with a rope, right? He takes the robe off. You think, okay, we're going to get to business, right? No, he puts the robe like a hoodie on her face. And it's like, okay, well, that's kind of odd, but okay, whatever. And then he puts the robe over her face, and she's literally suffocating to death. And he's holding it like from the back of her head like this, just utterly contemptible, like literally murdering her, right? And then all of a sudden, he's like, trust me. And then she like stops fighting back, like she's trying to gasp for air. And like after like 10 seconds of like trying to kill her, like at least like that's what any reasonable person would come to the conclusion of. He slits like a hole where her mouth is for her to breathe. But again, why would you ever do that? And that was the end of the episode, mind you. What a disgusting person to do that. And that is utterly fucking disgusting. It's gross. And it's something that you ought to not see on TV. And I guess you could see it on, TV if it were, to be condemned, right? Like in the context of like a murder, again, to display what happened, like in a historical context, that would make sense. But to just show that on TV, like in the Euphoria idea of like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's kind of depraved, but cool. I just do not like that. I don't respect that at all. And it's just utterly, 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 fundamentally disgusting. And then upon that, to further add some context to why the show's really bad, then you have this exchange where upon meeting the guy at the club, for whatever reason, it's the Lily Rose Depp chick, right? The protagonist blonde girl, and then it's the 4 or 5 out of 10 sidekick character, and her girlfriend basically are like, oh, what do you like about the guy? He seemed kind of rapey. And then the blonde chick's like, well, actually, I like that. What the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? Why did you say that? That's really disgusting, honestly. Why would you ever say that sort of thing? It's just utterly contemptible. And again, 80% of women, according to some like study that I've heard about, as of the last several years, have said that they have these sort of like fantasies of getting taken advantage of, and that they somehow like that in a sadistic sense or whatever it is. And again, very gross. And you know what? At least, I'll give them credit insofar as they're like showing these kinks and fetishes, but and it is very obviously something that is wrong. But my problem with it is that there's going to be a litany of people on TikTok, people that are like 16 that haven't had sex yet, that don't know that that's not the way it should be. And they're going to say, well, these sort of like fantasies that I may be having because of my daddy issues, according to like the psyche of like the average 16-year-old girl, now they're going to think that, well, actually what the Weeknd is doing with the blonde chick is actually kind of hot, which it just isn't really true to me. I don't find that attractive, and nobody should find that attractive. It's definitely a dysfunctional thing, and it's just utterly contemptible, and I do not like that. Now, here's another detail just to add on to it, because I just really want to be concise with this, and not by concise I mean just like getting everything in here. I'm talking really fast, by the way. There's towards the beginning, there's the choreography scenes, right, where people are dancing and they're choreographing and doing whatever, their best Britney Spears circa 2002 impersonation, right? And then what you notice is that there's a ton of gay guys, which I guess, they're dancing whatever. I mean, that's kind of normal in Hollywood. But what you'll notice is that even like the Jewish and they verbatim tell you that they're Jewish, so I'm not like saying anything weird by just announcing it, but yeah, so these Jews are like, they're the managers or whatever, and they're basically saying they're commentating on like her body and whatnot, and it's just kind of like distasteful. But even beyond that, they're commentating about their own sex lives in such a way that is so graphically gross. And then beyond that, it's so immodest, because there's like a 70-year-old Yenta, right? And this chick is like talking about how she got railed like 30 years ago. And it's like, bro, why would you ever want to hear your grandmother say something like that? It's just, again, really gross, really gross. And it seems like every single like character in that show is doing their best like gay Jewish liberal version of like Milo Yiannopoulos impersonation, where it's like just a bunch of like flamboyant, selfish, hedonistic, pleasure seeking, completely just demoralizing actions, back to back to back. And it's just like not something that you'd want to see in society, and polite society at least. And now to add to that point, there's another instance where, for instance, the initial problem with Lily Rose Depp's character, the blonde chick, is that there's a video of, or at least a picture of her getting facialed, obviously, and they're saying like, oh, this is so bad because we're trying to sell her to teenage girls as like a idol or whatever. And that's kind of illustrating the problem, right? These people, these like 15-year-old girls that don't really know better, are looking up to girls that are attractive, that are famous, like Britney Spears or like whatever contemporary you can point to today. And these girls behind the scenes are getting railed on, getting completely taken advantage of, but also making a lot of really bad life decisions on their own. So it's a layer of, obviously, people like The Weeknd, people like these DJs drugging up these girls. That's obviously immoral, but also these girls also letting that happen in the first place to an extent, and also, getting drunk, fornicating, all these things that are not really productive at the end of the day. These sort of things are, in a way, being glorified by the show. And it's not really something that is glorified just like distinctly saying like, okay, this is awesome, but it's also showing it in a way where it's a lot of the upside, right? Like, for instance, you won't see in Euphoria, you won't see in these shows the part where obviously the girl that has a lot of sex catches an STD. They don't show the part where she has chlamydia. They don't show the part where she's bleeding because of something that happens. They're not showing somebody who dies because of fentanyl being laced into their ecstasy or something like that. That's completely realistic, mind you, something that is completely feasible to happen in one of the settings of these shows. But instead, they show you a lot of the good stuff, whether that be like, oh, I hooked up with this hot chick on drugs, or oh, I got drunk with my friends and that was cool. And the consequences that they do go under is not really proportionate to what the sins they commit are. And so you cannot really honestly say to me with a straight face that this is somehow not perpetrating a sinful sort of demeanor and kind of like perpetrating these like negative connotations to the youth. And again, one of the most subversive things that they're doing in the show is that, again, knowing full well that a good contingent of their audience is Gen Z that are impressionable, they're going to normalize the fact that this blonde chick who's attractive, who's successful by nominal standards on the show, is saying that her rape fantasies are legitimate and that they're cool. How is that cool at all? That is just functionally horrible. And the only silver lining that one can point to is the fact that, well, at least they're being honest in that people that are gross like that are, or at least dysfunctional to that extent. Sure, that's true, but most people aren't smart enough to divorce that from the fact that you ought not live that lifestyle, right? So again, it's mostly a negative. This show is definitely something that ought to be disavowed. It's something that is completely incompatible with any sort of morals. Like even like the most decent like atheists would say like, bro, this is too far. And again, it's glorifying it. It's similar to like rap, right? Where in rap, obviously, it's not necessarily saying like, oh, this illegality is so awesome, but it's also saying it is so awesome because they're saying, oh, I stole this, I killed this person, I slept with this person, and I'm here. And just by saying that I'm here because of these bad things, you're glorifying the bad things. And that that's mostly a pernicious thing against the youth, which are going to be watching these sort of things that are on HBO, Euphoria, whatever. And so from that standpoint, the show is really bad. And then again, for an entertainment factor, it's not really high up there. It's just really creepy. And that's all I got to say. So that's why I think that The Idol episode 1 is really bad. And I doubt the show will get any better. I will keep watching it just out of curiosity, but I'm just that morbid as a person, I guess. So comment down below what you thought and tell me if you want to see more of these sort of videos. Bye.